When Star and I first met, we were at a party, and it was one of those movie-style moments where the crowd parted, and I found myself looking at the most beautiful girl in the world.
I was crazy about him. I wanted to spend every waking moment with him. We lived a godless lifestyle, so it shouldn't have been a surprise when we found out after 18 months of dating that we were pregnant with our first baby. And so we entered into marriage, and things were good for a while, but I think that all of us know if you've been married for 5 minutes, marriage doesn't fix your problems, it only exposes them.
We didn't know how to do conflict well. And Star's method of resolving conflict is she wanted to talk it out. And my method of resolving conflict is I wanted to just stuff it away. I started to yell at my wife in ways that I didn't know was possible for me. And when she didn't respond well to my yelling, I started to get aggressive with her.
Hans went on a business trip, and I was out with a bunch of girlfriends, and I was approached by a man, and I became involved in an affair. So I'd made a decision that I was going to leave. And so Hans came home from his business trip to find me and our 2-year-old daughter with our bags packed.
She said, "Hans, I've been begging you to go to counseling for X amount of months, and our marriage is not getting any better, and I have to go. I can't live like this any longer." And so I ended up going to marriage counseling reluctantly. And so that really started my about 6-month journey to do everything that I could, with God's help this time, to be the husband that God wanted me to be.
And so I decided that I was going to go to counseling for 2 sessions. And at the end of my venting session that went on for quite some time, he looked at me and he said, "Star, I need to ask you a question." He said, "I need to ask you if you believe that Jesus Christ was raised from the dead." And I said, "Yeah, I believe that." He said, "So let me get this straight. You believe that God can raise a dead man back to life again, but you don't believe that that same God has the power to heal your marriage." I turned to God this much, and I watched him unfold things in our life and in our marriage that I never thought were possible.
For whatever reason, God chose to do that miracle in me and do that miracle in her, and it led us to get back together. And we were on the right track, but things were far from good. The process of restoration and reconciliation was just getting started.
I suspected that he knew about the affair. However, I just didn't have the courage to confess it. And so there was a night where we were together, and I just prayed silently, "God, can he just ask me one more time?"
And I remember looking her in the eye and saying, "Star, I need to know. I'm still gonna love you." And in that moment, she told me. It started us on this path of reconciliation. Everything wasn't fixed that night, but that gave us a template for how to work through everything that we experienced